Looky what we have here. Another Link to the Past Randomizer League race. We are in week 3, Open Randomizer Defeat Ganon mode. I am Fear Agent. And of course, joining me is my good buddy, Frostbite 3030. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to this match, like I'm sure all the people in chat are as well. Two really great runners. 3 or 4 different parts of the world being represented between our comms team and these two runners. Drac, of course, from
That's
the
right.
EU. I'm pretty sure Jules is from Australia, and if not, he'll probably make fun of us later, but I'm pretty sure that's the case, so really looking forward to this run.
Yeah, the globe is represented in this race. Two very strong runners. I mean, we saw Julloninja beat Weighty Words last week or the week before. And that is not easy to do, the SpeedGaming Live 2019 champion. So that was pretty fun. So we know that Jullo's good. We know that Drac is good. In fact, I'm going to try to remain impartial because Drac is actually one of my favorite runners to watch. Ever since I got into Rando, he has consistently been super good and a real entertaining runner to watch. So I will try to be impartial here because I really do like Julloninja too. Raced a bunch against him and lost a bunch against him as well. But regardless, we're going to be in for a good race. And, you know, the great equalizer, you know, Rando is a great equalizer, but Randomizer takes that and amps it up just a little bit more because you never know what you're going to get, as Forrest Gump once told us.
Yeah, you can get Randomizer seeds where it's like 75% easier than a general seed because it's just full of shades, and I don't know, are those things called popos, those little things that just get killed by the hookshot really easily, and other times it's just littered with chain chomps and Lionels and pokies, and it's just not fun whatsoever. So of course, the other great equalizer in the Randomizer is that this mode does have boss shuffle on. It's the full boss shuffle mode, which means that any 3 of the bosses will appear twice at any of the 13 boss spots throughout the game, including the 3 in Ganon's Tower. So there is some sort of tracking of the bosses you can do to see if you are going to need, for example, the Ice Rod or the Hookshot or whatever the case may be, because you kind of never know until you drop into it. So until you find those key boss killing items, there's always a bit of risk with heading into a boss room. Even if it isn't a dungeon, you can otherwise full clear.
For sure. So there's going to be a lot of craziness. If you've watched any of the Randomizer seeds this week, you will know that anything can happen in these modes, even more so than any other sort of rando mode. So it's hard to say who's the favorite here, but it's going to be a fun watch regardless. I do want to give a shout out to our tracker today, Oro, who I believe will be in chat as well. Maybe the best tracker in all of Rando Land. And Frostbite and I need that because we get get on tangents a bit and lose track of what's going on. And we need someone that can keep us on track while keeping track of all the items, and that's Oro. So make sure you get your heart emotes and love in the chat for Oro and for all the work that they are doing behind the scenes. We couldn't do this without them. So we're about to get going here. You know, as a runner, Frost, there's a couple of ways to look at these races. You know, you and I are in the league. We run these races. So as a runner, you want the seeds to be kind. As a commentator and a viewer, it's a little bit more fun when things get a little bit hairy. So, what's your view so far going into this race?
I want to see something in a ridiculously stupid spot. Like, not the hammer. I want to see like the needed Bombos medallion really deep in a really tough ice palace or something like that.
Yeah. All right, so Drac just getting that first item out of the house. I think it was just $20. And Julio's actually going to go take a look at Uncle. And meanwhile, Drac's going to
right away. I'm calling out Drac. That's got to be a mistake. There's no way he meant to start at Link's house like that and save quit. No, I'm just kidding.
Tier 1 tree pull is just some roops. It looks like we got ourselves a couple pendants in the light world. Crystal over in Eastern Palace. We got some Gibdos here hanging out next to our uncle, and Lionel's in the overworld, so that's already fun.
Yeah, at least in like a spot, you wouldn't want the Lionels in the spot where the Gibdos are, for example. But if you have enough room to maneuver around them and you've played a bunch, they're basically you can sort of control them with your movement, so they're not too threatening as long as you have a little bit of space. Of course, if they do hit you, they'll kill you, and that's the other side.
Sure, yeah, they're not too scary, and you know that's not actually even the worst spot that it could be. When you have space to move, it's not as scary because, like you said, you can control them a bit. It's the ones that just come right after you. The red guards in Randomizer are the worst.
Yeah, I'm like, at least in this league mode, the thieves are killable. Otherwise, I feel if you got some like chaos damage going on, and you got like unkillable thieves doing 5.5 hearts of damage or something like that, that is the worst possible enemy you can ever encounter. But when you're playing a mode like this, they just take the sort of 2 fighter sword damage to kill, and it's possibly my favorite thing is killing the thieves in Randomizer.
Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna be looking for a weapon early. I love killing the thieves.
Well, there's a weapon. Of course, it's a weapon that's basically you can threaten with at this point, but not do much damage.
Right, like it doesn't kill a lot of the bosses, and there's certain enemies that it won't do damage to either. But you know, it's not too bad. And Drac getting that bow says, you know what? Give me those free 10 arrows over there. I'll take them.
Yeah, he's going for another tree pull, it looks like, as well.
Yeah, no money. Not enough money yet to buy. Oh, there we go. Get that tier 3, I think it was, and gets some 20s. I'm surprised Jullo didn't grab that fish right there, because that's a really convenient spot for that fish to get some things.
Yeah, it's something if you don't play a lot of Randomizer, and I don't think Jullo plays a ton of Randomizer, like as if anyone plays a ton of Randomizer. But yeah, that's something I'm certainly always looking for, is if I can find a fish conveniently between the Lost Woods and CAC, I'm definitely picking.
Yeah. All right, so we get a convenient bottle to check Sick Kid with. There's the book on Lake Hylia Island. Sick Kid just giving a little bit of love. Drac gonna pick up some bombs here, and I'm guessing make his way over to Eastern area. Where's he gonna go?
Yeah, this would be a bold play to go right into Eastern right now. Eastern's pretty easy dungeon normally, but there's a couple room in Eastern Palace in the dark with no sword that can basically become incompletable without a significant amount of help, which of course it does not have. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's just safe putting out his Saha here either.
Oh man, sorry, did you see that chicken hut?
No, I missed it. It must have been good though.
Yeah, he didn't even attempt it. There was a chicken there, and then two thieves.
And Drac finding silver arrows in Saha's closet. That's incredible. Really good find early in Randomizer. That bow is a really good option against Gibdos, Lionels. It really takes a lot of the end game high tier enemies and just melts them.
Yeah. It looks like Drac's going to put off Kakariko as much as he can. Well, not giving out much. Oh no, he's going to head over there. I thought he might head over to do South Shore, but you honestly don't really want to do Mini Mulderm Cave right away in this mode. I mean, again, you could do the bow. He's got only 9 shots though, so there's not a guarantee he's going to be able to kill everything in there.
Yeah, luckily with the sort of the way the Randomizer works with the kill rooms, that Mini Mulderm Cave tends to be pretty easy. You either end up with those, like, I don't know what they're called, those shadow enemies from Ice Palace, or you end up with the, I gotta learn the names of the enemies. The purple enemy is the easy ones, or it's vanilla. So generally it's not that bad. Honestly, like, vanilla Mini Mulderm Cave is probably the worst way you can get a lot of
Yeah, Mini Mulderms are the worst for sure. And CAC not really paying out much. We still haven't seen that chicken hut. We'll see how Jullo wants to handle it this time.
Yeah, I feel with the bow and some arrows, you should be able to take it down. Because the thieves won't kill you, right?
You know, but they'll take all your bombs away. Look at those jerks.
Dude, they're like offensive linemen.
This is hilarious. Just the 20 in there. So Kakariko not giving us much. So we're gonna. Oh, there was a little shadow creature in there as well.
Yeah, those things seem to be incredibly popular with the Randomizer algorithm for some reason.
Yeah, and they're super annoying. Anything that you have to wait for is annoying.
Yeah, they're an interesting enemy in that, like, if you try and slash where they are when they're invisible, you can't hit them. But if you hit them with the hookshot or with an arrow, or you throw a pot at them, you can kill them before they spawn. As well, if you use the ether medallion while they're invisible, you can kill them as well. So I kind of like them because, you know, if you know where the enemies spawn and you don't see anything, there's a good chance it's one of them. You can just flash your hookshot over the hole and kill them without them even coming to life. Now, with the settings in this mode, race game isn't as fun as it can be in other Randomizer settings, but I swear to God, every time you see an item in Randomizer sitting on that ledge, your heart skips a beat.
For sure. Yeah, because you pick up a bush, and next thing you know, the guard's chasing you.
Yeah, 3 red guards, thanks. That red boomerang is actually a pretty strong weapon. I mean, not only does it have stunning capabilities for a large number of enemies, including some sort of higher tier ones you wouldn't expect, like Gibdos and Hinoxes. Maybe not Hinoxes, I can't remember. But it also, of course, has the extended fake flippering capabilities allowed as well.
Yeah,
with
for
the
sure.
bow, it's not as relevant, but I find it easier to use in some places.
I mean, just having the ability to stun enemies, most enemies, is nice in Randomizer.
Yeah, especially before you find a sword, yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we're looking at the dam. And where are all the items?
Front of escape.
Fun.
If I was Jullo right here, I'd probably be tempted to go to Agina's cave simply because I found so little. Like, I don't even have any money.
I know, it's crazy.
Those red hard hat beetles are some of the worst enemies in Randomizer as well. They're relentless. When they hit you, they send you... They do 2 hearts to green mail as well. They're a really tough enemy. They don't die. So he's got the 4 shade room here, it looks like. He's just a bit left of it, yeah.
What is it with these shades being in this room?
Yeah, I'm not sure what causes the Randomizer to group like enemies of single type. You'd think if it was random, you'd get like 4 different enemies in this room, but it always seems to be like 4 of the same type or 3 in one. Oh, that's a nice find though in there. The hammer, bottle always nice, even though they've already got a free one, and the glove. So you asked where everything was, Fear Agent. The answer, my friend, was Mini Moldor.
It's right here, yeah. Surprised he's not checking Ice Rod Cave.
Yeah.
I mean, I just again, everyone has different routing techniques. I like to be as thorough as I can be, especially in 1v1s, because I don't want to skip an item. You know, hopefully there's nothing there, or when he hits the flute, he can get back there sooner. Drac is actually going to take a look at the Gina's cave, and back of escape's pretty tame compared to a lot of back of escapes I've seen, because there can be so many enemies back there. Or we just find the Moon Pearl and we're off.
Well, now he's really hoping there's nothing in Ice Rod Cave, because it's not going to be checked for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. Ooh, Drac finding the big single arrow in Agina's cave.
Yeah, that's like just a slap in the face. It's like, even if he found 50 rupees there, he probably would have been like, yeah, it's a low money seed so far, this isn't that bad. But single arrow, I'm pretty sure he already had 32. It's just doubly insulting.
So Jullo's got Dark World access, and yet he's choosing, I guess, to go over to Saha. And then is this a pod play?
That'd be interesting. I would be like, one of the things I like to do in Randomizer is I tend to like to clear bulk overworld spots, and I'd count something like the front of Thieves Town in that as well, where I'd be tempted to just hit up Hype Cave, hit up Village of Outcasts in the front of Thieves Town, try and get some weapons, because I don't really want to go into pod with the loadout that I have right now, and then, you know, not be able to kill the boss with the hookshot just sitting in, you know, T-Shaped house or something like that, right? So
yeah, I guess you just didn't want to leave those 3 items there sitting there for a while, so
yeah, it's not a bad play. I know a lot of people do like to check that Saha's closet, especially once you find a glove. You assume you'll find the flute. It doesn't actually lose you that much time to flute back to 5 later in the game. Just head up the right stair.
Yeah. So we are going to get a look at the Hype Cave. There's going to be one pendant dungeon in the Dark World, so we're going to be clearing out at least 6 of them. And it is in Ice Palace with a 5-6 over at Pod. Not the worst pendant layout as far as a runner you would want to see. Desert, hair, and ice. You know, if you have the opportunity to skip those.
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to see Desert and Hera be crystals, I feel, just because they're super quick, but, like, that's more of a, like, just overall you versus the game mentality. When you're in a race, like, you're playing the same game, so it doesn't really matter from that sense.
Wow, well, that was a hype cave. Let me tell you, they got, I think, a total of, like, $150.
I mean, if I went into a cave and came out with $150 here, like, I'd be happy with it. Sure, but I think in Hyrule, that's pretty weak find. I agree.
We know why it's called Hype Cave. Look at all that hype. So much money.
I feel like it just is so correct to be called Hype Cave and then never have anything. That just seems appropriate.
Sure.
It'd be weird if it was called Hype Cave and it was actually.
Yeah. All right, so what does little Stumpy got for us? And this is the type of thing that if I'm playing this seed, I don't want to see. I'm at, you got green mail, you got 6 hearts, you got hammer and silvers, which are good. No mobility though yet with boots or flute,
or
no sword.
Even, yeah.
Yeah, and so you're gonna have to go into like Thieves Town without a sword. None of these checks feel good, right?
No, they're also missing Hookshot, which is my favorite Randomizer weapon because not only does it stun most enemies, it one-hit kills a lot of other enemies that are annoying, plus it's a movement item, it's really valuable. Plus it's a big, world-opening item, so it's valuable in that sense as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty dry seed. It's basically been like, okay, here's your Dark World access, now pick which sort of, like,
right.
bad spot you want to go.
Yeah.
The other thing is I wrote slightly differently personally in Randomizer is whether it relates to Skull Woods. Randomizer Skull Woods is awful. The front of it, where the big chest is and where the other 4 chests are, isn't too bad. But that vanilla big key chest is horrific, especially if you get a couple anti-fairies up in that room and you don't have the powder yet. And the other thing is Mothula, in my opinion at least, is a pretty routine boss for the most part, unless you're going in really low health with Fighter Sword or something like that. But the bosses you can encounter at that spot in Randomizer can be very challenging. Even something like Armos Knights, if you go in there with low health, it can kill you before you even realize what's going on.
Yeah. Mean Deadrock over there in the forest. Drac taking the opposite route. He's going to go check Pyramid, and I'm guessing probably Catfish. He's checking off all the bad spots right away. Though neither of our runners, I think, checked Ice Rod Cave, so be interesting if we find anything there.
Yeah,
Drac might just head over to Pod from this point too. Oh, there we go. Oro coming through already. Ice Rod Cave was checked. Just a red rippy.
Such value. No wonder we missed it.
Yeah.
I'm personally a fan of the Hype Cave to Catfish play, only because, like, it's a play that if I don't make it now, when? And I guess my other thought, as opposed to going left like Jullo did to check Dig Game and Stumpy, is that in, like, an ideal world, I'd like to have Mitts and Mirror and maybe a couple other items before heading into that South Dark World, so I can avoid walking over that screen without being able to check K45, without being able to do the Smiths. So that's my preference for this route. Now, of course, always depends where the things are that matters which one's better.
Right. I do feel like I would have done Drac's route, but without boots, it's a lot. Just feels so slow. All right, so the mill chest has nothing for us here in Skull Woods.
Yeah, not a bad enemy layout to get back there.
Yeah. Actually better than the Gib does. Well, Catfish does have something.
Yeah, that's going to be important.
And that something is one of those items where it's, not necessarily useful right away, but can be in so many different places that it could be a last location if Jullo doesn't get it here soon.
Yeah, you think like with scenarios where potentially Canis Maria blocks like the mirror, Canis Maria blocks anything important, there's a very good chance you can last locate that. Now, of course, if it does block any of those items, you kind of get led there quicker, so it can be beneficial in that way, but that's a rough spot either way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Jullo pulling that lamp out of Skullwoods. Lamp is another item that is fantastic to find in Randomizer. Not only does it allow you to light the torches and other things that the lamp does, but Randomizer dark rooms, they kind of suck, right?
They're a nightmare. They're a complete nightmare. I mean, there's a chance that they could be easy, right? But for the most part, they're a nightmare. So I'm always happy to see a lamp when I'm playing Randomizer.
Yeah, if I'm like, say I'm like going through Eastern Palace and I have to make the choice about whether or not I want to go through dark rooms, it's like, if I don't have sword beams almost, I feel like I'm not even going to try, because the sword beams, you can kind of like, test the waters, just launch and keep things at bay. But other rooms, like, we've all probably seen a race or two where someone's tried to go up Death Mountain without the lamp and, basically had to forfeit the seat because they've save and quit instead of or save continue instead of continuing there, which causes you to, basically hard lock there if you can't get out. And unfortunately, Drac taking a death on the Skullwoods overworld, which is a really bad place to die.
Yeah, that's a huge time loss because you got to walk all the way back there. He took a bunch of damage from those Lynels on his way over to the portal, and got to be careful in Randomizer. You have to. Blue mail will help with that.
Yeah, for sure.
When stuff just pops out, next thing you know, you're so used to regular strats in this game where I don't have to worry about this or I have to worry about that. I can get over here with 2 hearts, no problem. But with Randomizer, everything is flipped.
Yeah, the other thing I find I struggle with in Randomizer is I'll often take damage when I'm trying to update my tracker, because I'll be just walking through a pattern and a pathway that I know is successful, and then it's just like, boom, right into a, whatever they trying to make here. And it's like, oh yeah, I can't just... Autopilot isn't going to work today.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get to go into one of my favorite places in Randomizer, the front of Thieves' Town. It's just absolute chaos. Basically, any enemy can spawn there, multiple layers. You get 10 guards down there. It can slow it down to basically, lag frame every other frame. I love it.
Yeah, walking through the front of Thieves' Town can be so slow.
Yeah, fortunately those shell enemies, they don't tend to lag the game until they live. Now, all these guards with their invisible, eye sprites are the absolute lag machine. And Julloninja immediately switching to the hookshot after finding it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best. Like, if you ask me, besides, like, boots, what one item do you want to start with in Randomizer? 100% of the time, it's hookshot.
Oh, I completely agree. Even more than a sword.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Now, that's biased because you find 4 of them and you'll eventually run into one of them. But yeah, the hookshot is so valuable. Honestly, powder is super valuable too, because anti-fairies until you find powder are the worst. And once you find powder, they're basically free.
Yeah.
The other thing I think that really shine in Randomizer, of course, is medallions for the kill rooms. If you've got good knowledge about which particular enemy is tied to the Ether medallion, you can use that a lot and save yourself some time. And of course, Bombos kills basically everything that can be killed by a medallion, so that's always an option in some of the worst. And that's one of my favorite things about Randomizer, is using items you don't tend to use in a vanilla game where you have, very, very defined strategy.
The crawl through that last room. All right, so we're probably going to get a look at our first enemy, or our first boss here.
Okay, it's Lambolus. This is absolutely free with those silver arrows.
Well, that's a little disappointing.
Really nice north strat from Jullo.
I think, is that 3? I wasn't counting. I think that's 3 of the 4 items in Thieves Town. So I imagine Jullo's not going to go back in.
Yeah, I have literally no clue, but
you know, the theme of this week, besides being Randomizer, is skipping the back of Thieves Town. And let me tell you, it's the back of Thieves Town has been a doozy this week. Just watch some of these Randomizer seeds, and it's very incentivizing to skip the back, and it's cost people some races.
Yeah, with the ability to just dive right into that boss item, I mean, it always makes sense, in my opinion, to check that first. You pick up the small key and you go in. And if it's a bad boss, you save quit out. If it's a good boss, you kill it, and then you can make your decision. And that's right on that line for me, where I'm personally not going in for one item until it's my last location. And it's sort of, if my opponent does it, that's fine. You know what I mean? But I completely support this decision to abandon it now.
It's basically left side swamp in Randomizer.
Yeah, I mean, it's left side swamp with the potential to have 3 items, so I think it makes it a little more crystallized if you're going to make that choice. Like, if he's gone in there and there's still 3 items in the back, I feel like most people will probably go back in at that time, just because on, like, a chest per minute basis, it's the back of Thieves Town, you know, isn't that bad if you're guaranteed to get 3 items, right? So...
Sure. A pretty tame climb here up the mountain. Everything's stuck in the wall. And half magic. I will, I'll never complain about getting half magic, but again, in Randomizer, when a lot of times you can use your medallions, especially something like Ether a lot, half magic is really nice.
Yeah, and it lets you open up the options. You know, if you see a bunch of Gibdos in a kill room before you're approaching a boss, you might not want to fire your magic if you have 8 hearts, because you might, be needing that fire rod that's sitting there to kill the cults there. But
yeah.
But if you have half magic, you can just let loose. Was that the ice rod?
Ice rod and fire.
Double rod, double rod, spectral rock cave. Wow.
And ice rod, being the ice rod, it's always tough because you never know where it could be, especially in Randomizer, when you don't know if or when you're going to face Trinex. So getting it early is really nice.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's nothing worse. If you've played enough Randomizer seeds, you've probably had a scenario where you've not had the ice rod, and you're climbing up Ganon's tower thinking, I'm going to get a really good time there, and then boom, Landmo Trinex, and it's just like,
yep.
Oh yeah, great, I love this game.
Yeah. All right, so we're not able to pick up that fire rod yet. We need the mirror for that, but...
No, that's great knowledge, though.
Yeah,
I love seeing items there, because it basically, unless it's just a really horrible seed that's going to like last locate the mirror into the fire rod, it usually means the mirror is not that far away.
All right, so we've got Landmo for Drac here, and again, with those silvers, it's basically free. And I imagine he'll be making his way up the mountain as well. It seems like Drac is behind, but he does have that Cane of Samaria, so that is a pretty big advantage at this point. And we got our first sword, so that's nice.
Yeah, cannot say anything bad about that. Jullo just making my head spin with all these menus.
Yeah, it is a lot of menuing. I mean, it's like when you pick up an item right away, you don't always like, your brain doesn't trigger, oh, I have this item now, so let me use it. So he could have just used that sword to kill the Stalfos there. But, he's been playing 25 minutes without it. So it's like, oh yeah, I should probably switch to an item that I can kill this with. Oh wait, I've got a sword.
Yeah, I find I do that sometimes too, especially if it seems like if you've gone a long time without the sword specifically, it's easy to forget you have.
Same with boots. Like, you get the boots and it's like you've been walking for 50 minutes and you're like, pick up the boots and you're still walking, forgetting that, oh yeah.
See,
I
I've
can
developed the
run now.
habit of, even when I don't have the boots, I just try and use them about every 2-3 minutes, just so
Sure,
like if I
yeah.
did pick them up and I forget, I'm like, oh
Remind
yeah, I got
yourself.
the boots.
All right, so we'll see how much of Hera Jullo wants to clear out. Nice little roller there.
Yeah, it feels bad to come up here without the mirror and not get 2 items, just because, you know, you're in the back of your mind, you're thinking, if what I'm looking for is up here, it's really, really bad to come back. But of course,
Yeah.
this Tower of Hera boss spot is another spot that can be kind of annoying.
Well, I mean, it's free basic. With I'm surprised he's leaving. There's still 1 item, and you could parapot and check 2 of them pretty quickly.
Yeah. I'm not sure that Jullo does the Herapod. I think that I did call his last race with weighty words, and he didn't. I'm pretty sure he didn't do it in Go mode then. And I think Days Cloud was going to have a word with him, but I'm not sure if that meeting ever happened
Sure.
and the training session took place.
Okay, so yeah, that makes sense. So Drac actually not heading up to the mountain. He's going to go take a look at Eastern, which may or may not be full clearable at this point. We've got a lamp. We can get to the back regardless of our items because of Randomizer. We don't know which boss it will be. All right, so the mountain, while it had the ice rod and a sword, not a ton.
No, that sword's really nice, obviously, but it doesn't actually do anything. With the exception of allowing, you know, a few like curtain cuts that, you know, are totally irrelevant right now.
Yeah.
And the medallion usage. I guess that's the other thing, is it allows him to spam the ether medallion, which is actually nice, because Drac still is unable to.
Sure.
And there's a couple rooms in Eastern Palace here where that ether medallion can come in very handy. First of all, the second dark room, even though they have the lamp, you know, you get like a bunch of annoying enemies in there. It's really nice to just make them all sit still. And then the pre-boss room that has 8 enemies in it can get really hairy if they're the wrong ones. You get 4 Hinoxes in there hucking bombs, and the lag takes over, and it's no fun. So do you think this is the play? Like, what else do they even have available?
Well, we got pause also now open. And that's it, right?
Yeah, the second item in Tower of Hera, pod, I think that might be it.
Yeah. I mean, pod is definitely spicier than the 1 item in Hera for sure. Oh, we did get a mushroom.
Yeah, as Duke points out in chat, they have the Jullo did pick up the mushroom on Death Mountain as well. Yeah.
So we've got the big key. We've got heart container. I missed if we got any more items or not. Yeah, so wow, yeah.
Jack just getting hookshot him just away from that hand at the last minute.
That's been another theme this week, is those wall masters just coming down at the worst spots.
Yeah, wall masters are horrible. I'm constantly counting enemies when I enter a room in Randomizer to see whether or not there's going to be a wall master coming. Especially those key rooms where, like, you know, the last room in Ice Palace, the room after, you know, Moldorm 2 and GT. Some of those rooms with wall masters are simply rude.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Now this room, any room that has a thief in it, and you don't have a sword, is always fun. Those crows, I don't understand. I feel like there's a bunch of different crows. I don't know how the crows necessarily work, but there's some that will like fly at you and then just fly away, and then there's some that will just like go after you.
Yeah, so I think, I'm not exactly sure either, but I'm pretty sure that's the light difference between the light world and the dark world crows. The light world crows, they just kind of buzz you and then turn away. The dark world crows are absolutely relentless, and until you scroll them off the screen, they will follow you. However, when the Randomizer patches them, or whatever the word is, I don't know, I don't do computer, into the sprites, it uses the light world sprite in the light world regardless of which of the two enemies it's chosen. And the same is true for like the rats and the grasshoppers.
Yeah. I'm not laughing at what you're saying. I'm just laughing at this nonsense that's going on Drax's side right now.
Yeah, the lag central here.
This highlights the benefits of both silvers, vanilla, silvers and hookshot, is being able to just stun all those tools and then mow them all down with the silver arrows.
You know, how much lacking of confidence must you have in your guards when you're going to pile 8 of them in a room that's like barely even large enough to stand?
Yeah. All right, so that's crystal number 2 for Drac there, and Jullo's not too far behind. Man, Igor had the key too. Like, that's super vanilla as well. What the heck?
Yeah, I know. That guard room low-key would have been impossible without the hookshot, though. Without the hookshot, I'm not sure that would have been completable.
Yeah. You definitely need to be able to stun them, so.
I guess they have the red boomerang too, which is sort of like just, it would have been fine in that scenario, to be honest. But
yeah, as long as you can stun them. Those red guards are relentless. It's just funny. Oh, let's see the power of ether.
Yeah, the game is not going to like this, I feel. You can like feel Jullo's game speeding up with every enemy he kills.
Yeah. Oh man, the frames.
That is some of the best part about these Randomizer seeds. Your lag frame count at the end is just absolutely enormous.
Yeah. All right, and just like that, crystal number 2 for Julloninja.
This area.
Imagine.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's gonna head over to pod as well.
Yeah, that pod Kiki walk is another thing you're always kind of hoping isn't going to be too bad in Randomizer, because you can get in some scenarios where you get bumped, gotta go back pick up Kiki, get bumped again, gotta go pick up Kiki. Oh, and the Picket with the huge bomb snipe on Jullo. He thought he was getting away, and the Picket just said absolutely not.
All right, what do we got here in pod? So we need something to open up this game here. Some mitts, maybe a mirror.
Yeah, mitts, mirror, or like something leading fairly directly to either of those.
Yeah, we didn't see any fake flippering, because fake flippering in Randomizer is just a little too silly.
Yeah, it can lead to issues. I mean, I know in one of the races last night, I believe Imosaru sort of hard locked in a fake flipper state, which is very unfortunate, and had to hard reset the game.
Really? Oh no.
Yeah, I think basically she picked up a heart piece in the cave that sunk her through the floor, and you end up in a sort of fake flipper state. And I don't think the game likes that at all when you then get hit afterwards. So that was unfortunate. So I know a lot of runners are really hesitant to fake flipper in Randomizer.
Yeah. So nothing so far in pod. Everything's going to be in the back or on the quote-unquote bow-locked side.
Yeah, I feel fairly strongly about this pod play, though. You got that bow, which doesn't really mean anything, but still in your brain you're saying pod. And then you find the lamp, which is low-key a big sort of item unlocker as far as logic goes in pod, because, of course, the front is so loaded with keys that generally you get 3 or 4 items, if not 5 in the back, often all lamp locks.
All right, let's find something here, or not. Just find keys, keys upon keys upon keys upon keys.
I mean, the big key is still technically a key, but it's like you get like a little breath of happiness out your nose when you find it instead of just stone cold nothing. Drac looks like he's gonna head straight to the back.
Yeah, this is fine. You know, we don't know what the boss is.
Yeah, I'm always a little more scared about it until I find the fire rod because, of course, the cold stare. You know, you're always kind of seemingly wanting to duck a Trinex when you're playing these things.
Yeah. What do you think is going to be back here? Just take a guess.
Mocula.
I think it's going to be Argus.
Another fun boss fight. Swordless Argus. That's what I'm saying every time I step into a boss room is please be Mocula.
Viddy wouldn't be too bad. Like, Viddy is one of those enemies, like bosses you don't want to see early. But with Silver Arrows, it's like cake.
Yeah, like the difference in difficulty between, you know, swordless hammer Viddy fight and a swordless hammer silver arrow Viddy fight is 0 to 10, basically.
Yeah. We're gonna find something here. The old one-eyed moldworm.
I like how it's not a Cyclops, it's clearly like a two-eyed Moldorm that lost one of its eyes. If you look at this part.
Yeah.
I don't want no freak Moldorms in here. That one's just, you know, he's got on disability. It's been a rough life for that guy.
Yeah, at this point, we're just putting him out of his misery.
Moldorm, though, unlike Mothul, one of the bosses that is, basically totally free, minus the room spot.
Yeah, those rollers are the worst in this Randomizer, or even spikes like that with no way to like get through it with a safety like a cape or a cane of burna. Just gotta muscle your way through. So you got to take damage. I don't know how you get through this spike roller without taking damage.
The spike roller, you go like Drac did with the staircase. When you're in the staircase like that, it's invincibility. And with this, I bet we're going to see Drac do the hammer yump to avoid this spike. Maybe not.
If he hammer yumps, he's locked in there.
Oh yeah, because he killed the boss, he doesn't have a small key. You're right.
Yeah, you just gotta like muscle your way through. What's it gonna be?
Flippers. So there we go. All your fake flipper dreams are dead, and you're thinking to yourself, oh man, I wish I'd fake flipper. Jullo using another really good strat of bomb damage boosting through enemies, which is a really good strategy to use on narrow pathways when you're left with an impassable enemy like that.
Yeah.
It can just be, it's a really hard strategy to use on your first time in, you know what I mean? It tends to be sort of something you think of after you're licking your wounds.
Right. Oh, Drac almost with the save and quit. There's still an item here in the big chest. And an important one as well is fire shield. Can't complete the game without that one, right?
I mean, it's the best shield. That's not, you know, high praise.
Yeah, I never mind having the fire shield. All right, so Drac not even gonna do the water checks. He's going. No, where's he going?
I am not sure where he's going.
We need a mirror to do swamp. So. Oh, we did the 5-6 crystals already.
That is exactly what he's doing. I was thinking about that earlier, and then I totally forgot.
This is a pretty strong play. Whenever you have early access to the pyramid fairy like this, it feels like there's a good chance, a good probability that there's something good here.
Yeah, and I know personally when I do this, I tend to like to just check it, and it's sort of like almost like mental conditioning for me. Whereas I know if I have the 5-6 crystals available and I sort of fade the pyramid fairy for half an hour and then I go there and it's something, I'm just gonna be super irritated with myself.
Yeah.
Whereas if I just go there right away and it's nothing, you just move on, right? But it's the deepest spot he has available in logic, and it totally makes sense.
Well, he still hasn't been up to the mountain, so I think his next step might be up there.
Well, not a lot of value today in Pyramid Fairy. Yeah, I wonder if Drac might be waiting to try and find the myths before he heads up the mountain. Like, not obviously forever.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. But
I wouldn't be surprised if he's heading right there right now, though. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for him, there's a good probability the myths are up there. And shoot, the top of all of Hera is completable in logic, so Jullo could have skipped something there.
Yeah, the other thing that Drac's sort of done with his routing choices by sort of delaying Death Mountain is that he'll have a lot less available once he gets the first item out of Tower of Hera, and he'll probably be more likely to get the second item just because he doesn't have all of Pod left and other options that Jullo still had when he went up the map. And that's sometimes things I like to do with checks that I don't want to make. Hera Basement, Swamp Palace left. I'll tend to put those off a little bit longer sometimes, just so I know the maximum amount of information I have. It's like, okay, if I'm going to Swamp left, I want to know I have it. Alright, Jullo's gonna have a nice, easy boss fight back in here.
So where is that mirror?
It's gonna be that terrible item I was talking about in Ice Palace. With Bombos being, I don't know, top of Hera.
Ugh. So we haven't done any of the flipper checks. We do know there's 2 items over in Zora's area as well as the waterfall fairy. So I imagine with Jullo having already gone up to the mountain, he would check that out next. Though he might do the fairy as well. And if he does that, that'd actually be good because there's a strong probability he heads over to Catfish and picks up that Cane of Samaria after doing that.
Yeah, this is a scenario where we'll be like kind of annoyed that you checked Pyramid Fairy and then you'll get Cane off Catfish. Be like, okay, I'm really happy I checked Pyramid Fairy. But it does feel likely that the myths or the mirror specifically are probably sitting in one of those 5 available waters. And I'm not sure if anyone did the Hylia dip to check the first item, the island item or not.
Yeah, I think Drac did, but I can't remember. Because he did go buy bombs there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, the book.
Oh yeah, I actually do remember it now. We even talked about it.
Yeah, that's right. It's like it's somewhere there in the old brain. It's like I remember something like that. It seems familiar, but
yeah, this feed has been pretty dry with the items. 44 minutes. You tend to want to be thinking about go mode, not where's the myths, where's the mirror,
yeah.
where's the...
So once we find Mitts, we still need that flute to get to Meyer. We know where Samari is. We need the mirror for Swamp Palace. And we know where the fire rod is. So we might not need boots in this seed. Alright, so Jullo is gonna make his way over to Catfish. So that's good for him because he'll pick up that Samaria there. This is like his best opportunity to check Catfish.
Yeah, for sure.
And I imagine we'll see Dracarys Hera pot is Hera because I mean he taught a lot of us how to do it with the old Drac pot. So.
Yeah, I mean the Drac pot strat is the strategy I use. Oh, I was gonna say, is that roller gonna say something else? But no, that roller is definitely not a problem.
Yeah. And here it is, the inventor of Drac pot.
Yeah, it's a really nice setup with Lions. Now, he failed his own setup, and I know exactly why he failed it. Because it's a little bit finicky with your final movement as you approach the pot. It likes 1 and 3 tile movements. It really doesn't like a 2 tile movement over, if that makes any sense. Because I don't know, subpixels or something. I'm sure Perdwong in chat would actually have real reasons for why this happens because he's the one who pointed it out to me. But it can be a little bit finicky if you do use that setup.
It is so strange that a 2 pixel movement or the fact that you pick up an item there before it hits the ground can affect that clip. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, bomb jump trajectories, which is essentially what that is, even though you're not, bombing over a pit or anything, it is a bomb movement, are very weird.
Oh, look at that. That mini Helmosaur there. Alright, so we still haven't seen the second item here. And
no, you always hate to see that small.
Yeah.
You're always just hoping it's in the basement.
For sure. Hobo.
I feel like you kind of have to go into the basement now, though. Like, you've already spent this time. Oh, boom, there's the flute. Julloninja. Old man with the...
That's good, but it doesn't unlock anything at this point.
It's an item. It makes you feel good. You've been spending the last half hour finding nothing.
Yeah, it's a nice item to have because we're going to need it. It's a required item. And we got, a nice, easy Mothula here.
And honestly, you kind of want to find your go mode items that don't open anything because you haven't actually added to your search pool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh man, is Drac gonna make the call to go to the basement? Oh, there's the mirror. So that means Mitts in Swamp, pretty much.
Yeah, that would be my guess as well. Oh, and Drac is going back in. This is pretty bad news unless this is sort of the Mitts at this point.
Right. Yeah. He needs something required here. So that mirror unlocks the fire rod. Normally you think, oh, there's a shovel too. Normally I can just go into Swamp. I'll pick up that fire rod later. But in this mode, that fire rod is super valuable. So I imagine we see Jullo pick that up before he heads into Swamp Palace.
Yeah, you have to go get that before you go in, because if you don't, you're just angering the rando gods, and they will move a cold stare in front of your path, even though the seeds are obviously pre-generated, and it doesn't work that way. That's the way it feels a lot of it.
Alright, so just a couple bombs from old Zora there. We are going to pick up that shovel. That mirror unlocks a bunch. And this is a big moment for Drac here. Oh no! Oh no!
That is rough. Now you can't go back there, right? Like.
Oh no, man!
Oh, he's going back.
The time invested. Oh man, that is the worst spot. So setting up the death warp there, and Randomizer strikes.
Yeah, that hook shot can be really annoying. I think he hooked into the torch one time instead of hitting the enemy as he intended to, and it just went south. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I had never died after setting up a death warp in this room, but it never feels good, that's for dang sure. Especially since I think the only thing he hasn't checked is Spiral Cave too, so...
Yeah, this could be the decider here. If there's nothing here in Hera, it's a huge time loss.
Yeah, we're going on like 4 minutes now, something like that, almost. Probably 3, but it's real rough.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well.
I mean, honestly, it's a good item. It has to lead to the mids, or you're still in trouble, basically, at this point. Even if he finds the boots, you'll never make that time up in the rest of this.
Alright, so...
Or, I mean, I guess the other thing is that you have, like, maybe, like, a GT climb that having the powder is the difference between dying or not dying.
Sure.
That could be the other thing where that makes up the time difference. You get 3 or 4 anti-fairies in, like, a really bad room, that powder can be a very good offensive weapon.
It's just like, okay, let's see if Hera has anything. And it has something, but it still doesn't really answer the question. So where's Julloninja going now? Oh, he's gonna go finish off Skullwoods. So with our loadout that Jullo has, he can actually clear. He can kill every boss.
Yep. Some of them are a little more annoying than others.
What are you hoping to see here in Skullwoods?
Honestly, in Randomizer, I'm always hoping to see Cold Stare in Skullwoods. Because it's a boss that seems like intuitively it might be challenging there because it is a tougher boss, but you can really bash those eyes into the spikes or the puff balls, the cotton candy, to do a lot of damage on the final phase. And I really don't like fighting a lot of the other bosses in that spot. I mean, Helicopter's obviously what the memes everyone says they want to see, and that boss is pretty free. But I hate Armos in that spot, and I hate Argis in that spot. So I'm tending to hope for a Cold Stare.
All right, chat. What do you guys want to see?
Helicopter. I mean,
it's gonna be yeah, it's true. It's gonna be Vanilla Moth.
Vanilla Moth. I'm super happy to see that if I'm playing this. This is another room that 4 torch room in the back of Skullwoods that can be really annoying in Randomizer. Most people have some very, very like designated muscle memory strats for that room, and it can be really challenging to break.
Yeah. Jullo, oh my gosh. All right, so this is the second Moldorm and the last Moldorm we'll see in this.
It's like the other Moldorm's older brother that can't walk anymore.
Yeah, this one's even worse. Like we thought the one in what was it? Pod was in bad shape. This guy is really struggling because he can barely move. It's like he fought in the war 30 years ago. His kids left him. He's alone.
Yeah, then we just come in and put him out of his misery.
Yeah.
Are there any items left in Skullwoods I can't have?
Yeah, I think there's still one more item in Skullwoods. It could be here. It could be in the big chest after getting that
yeah, okay.
Big key there. All right, so Drac got the flute and pieced out, which is fine because he's going to go activate it and then pick up his mirror after that. Ooh, and a cape is really nice in Randomizer as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that drags Jullo towards, the Cape Ledge and Graveyard Ledge, but he seems to have something else in mind.
Yeah, I think we saw the graveyard or the bumper ledge was nothing, but
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
we haven't. I mean, he's super isolating graveyard ledge at this point, but he's going to take the. I mean, he's basically mitts for go mode. We still could need Bombos or Quake. We don't know what's required for both Mire and Turtle Rock, so.
Yeah, good point. Medallion hunts are always great.
And through it all, we still need one of those swords.
Yeah, so it looks like Jullo's going to start with the K45 check before going into Swamp Palace. And I wouldn't be surprised if he remembers to go pick up that book afterwards.
Yeah. All right, Powder. Was it worth it? Unfortunately for Drac, the answer is no. Now, like you mentioned, this is Randomizer, and Powder may play a role, though they do have 3 bottles in this point, so.
Yeah, and the half magic as well.
So Hera, is just basically a big time loss at this point for Drac. I can't imagine Jullo ever going back now. And
Fear Agent breaks out the summoning powers and Quake Medallion appears in front of us.
Yeah, I guess so.
Now you got to be feeling pretty good about my Medallion count. Now, we've all had situations where you have 2 of the 3 and inevitably Mire is the one you don't have. But,
yeah.
I mean, statistically, it's got to be pretty likely that you've got your Medallion when you get to it.
Sure. Mitts are going to be here in Swamp. I don't think there's anywhere else they could be at this point. Well, I guess technically they could be in
Spike Cave.
Could be in Spike Cave. They could be in Desert, because with that mirror we do have access to Desert Palace now as well. So Jack gonna pick up his Fire Rod, and I imagine make the same play as Jullo and come to Swamp Palace here. Now it looks like Drac got the mirror and didn't continue on to Zora, which means just according to the tracker, he doesn't have his shovel. So if Quake is needed, that could be real bad for him. Now, again, if Quake isn't needed, it's just time loss for Jullo. So we will find out sooner rather than later.
Yeah, and I suspect that is a decision that he made that is directly attributed to the sort of disaster, for lack of a better term, that went down in Tower of Hera.
And Spike Cave, just 3 bombs.
Nice for another Wall Master to make an appearance. The best part about the Wall Masters is that they not only act in the room they spawn in, but they act over the whole super tile. So there you are, minding your own business in a room that doesn't even normally have enemies, and boom, all of a sudden you're at the start of the dungeon.
Yep, including Ganon's Tower. It didn't cost in my race this week against gosh, who did I race against this week? There's so many races going on. In my race, my opponent got Slowpoke. Thank you, Oro. Slowpoke got grabbed at the top of GT right before Aga 2.
Yeah, that's rough. That's happened to all of us. You just don't want it to happen in sort of like a quote-unquote important league race.
Yeah.
Yeah, my race also had some GT shenanigans, which I might get into if we get another dead spell on the seed at some point.
All right, so $50. So, looking at our 2 runners, the only real difference is Jullo's got Skullwoods finished and the Quake Medallion. But it's pretty close, and I'm wondering if we're going to see some Diver Down shenanigans. Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. I mean, I almost guarantee you Drac is going to do it.
Yeah, Drac will do it for...
Side,
yeah. I mean, it makes left side super quick.
I actually haven't even learned it for left side yet. I only do it in the back because basically I just don't go to left side before I go to the back. It's kind of not important.
Oh man, that wall master, especially when there's thieves around, where you get, they're constantly knocking you back, and then all of a sudden they knock you right back into the wall master. That's just nasty.
Yeah, that room's terrible for a number of reasons. It had thieves. It had like the switch, so you're going to be stationary for a split second while you're trying to move that little floodgate switch. And it had the other switches, so you're going to be standing still for a split second trying to flip them. Lots of opportunities to get lifted.
So I think, yeah, we got the compass in the first chest. So I wonder if that plays a part into Jullo heading left here first.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Nothing, and I mean nothing, feels worse than gambling left side first and swap and finding both the map and
yeah. We're gonna find something here though. there's the map. All right, so if Drac is able to make the call to skip left side, he will be able to save a little bit of time.
Yep.
I'd be surprised to see him go left right away.
Yeah, same. I think he feels like he's lost some time with that Hera stuff, and he's got to make some plays to move it up. And with there only being one item in the back, it was the heart container. I think it's a lot easier call than if there are two items. You may have the best of intentions of skipping it, but it becomes a little more challenging.
Mm-hmm. And we are going to see our first attempt here. That little Stalfos dude is the worst. He's going with the bomb setup. And missed it there.
Yeah, it was funny. As I was picking this up, I found the bomb setup a lot easier to do than the Cadence Mario setup, and then it's just like all of a sudden it clicked.
Yeah. Alright, so we got a blue potion. You'll never say no to that. And some cash, which you're not crazy about. I mean, sure, it's fine, but we're looking for some progression here. And some more cash. Alright, so it's either going to be on the boss here, or we might need to go grab that book. And it can't even be a tablet at this point because we don't have Master Sword still at 1 hour, 2 minutes and 53 seconds.
Yeah, that's enough.
All right, Frost, what do we got back here? Quick.
Macula, I'm always going to pick Macula. Yes!
Burn the witch. This is our second moth. So we've had 2 moths, 2 mold worms.
Mold worms. GT's looking spicy.
Yeah, GT is looking very spicy.
Because they've also eliminated the Armos and the Landmolus as well.
Yeah. That's not good for Drac. That's the big key. So he's gonna head back and at least probably get that item. And I imagine if it's not progression, we'll continue left.
Yeah, I'm a fan personally of going back in, checking the big chest, and then still skipping left side if there's only one item there.
Oh, he's just skipping it all.
He's just going, period.
Yeah, he feels behind. I get skipping the left side. I don't know if I'd skip that big chest. I feel like that big chest is quick enough. Having already done all the flooding, like you flooded, you don't need to flood anything again.
It's about, I think Blaine, when we were talking about this after a race where a bunch of us skipped that item and it wasn't, and he did it, he made the argument that it was about 28 to 35 seconds, depending on boots or not. And it's just not the huge time investment that going back for the left side is, and I think it's a very compelling case to be made to not skip it. Now, if you're in the skipping mode and you feel like you have to save some time, I think it's totally a viable choice.
Oh no, there's the boots.
Oh gosh,
how have we missed that this entire time?
Imagine scouting desert land.
Oh man. Oh geez. So that's some more checks. So this might work out for Drac here.
Yeah, now you're feeling a little bit terrible, even if you weren't feeling bad before.
Yeah. Oh man, so Swamp was empty.
Huge bait.
So Drac able to pick up some time here. Much needed time.
Yeah, the nice thing about skipping swamp as a play, it's like it's never a play you're going back to. It's like you'll forfeit before you get the item out of there, right? So
yeah, and we are boots locked here in desert. Fortunately, we know where those boots are.
Yeah, it's like my parents trying to hide the key in their garden or something like that.
Oh man, no, I mean, we could have known about those boots for forever, and I would have definitely grabbed those boots before I went into Swamp Palace. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm not a person that ever scouts this item either, and I know Drac even checked Agina's cave. But I'm sort of the opinion that it's like, well, what do I need to scout it for? If I can't get there, I can't get it, and as soon as I can get there, I'm gonna get it. This is why scouting it is maybe a wise decision, because it can make you go there a lot earlier and get your boots maybe, half an hour ago?
All right, so we're down to Desert Palace.
It just really feels like it's going to be one of those boost spots in the North Dark World, doesn't it?
Yeah, so we've got Desert Palace, we've got our boots checks, and we've got Graveyard Ledge. I think that's it. Oh, and Green Pendant here in Desert. So be interesting to see if either one of them wants to fully clear Desert if they don't get anything here. All right, so there's the second item there. And it looks like Drac is going to continue on. He's at least going to pick up the key.
Yeah, I feel like without the myths, you have to continue here, because you can't just say to yourself, well, I can just flute here and come back in really quickly. Like, I would probably be checking this item myself.
Well, the flute's out, so he's saying no.
Taking off. He's probably going to go check those North Dark World boot spots.
So he's gonna go in the Dark World so he can route in Graveyard Ledge as well. Oh, he actually might do Skull Woods first, because he has done that yet, and there's still one item there, and we have the information that there's Bumpkiss there. Don't think Jullo's turned in his mushroom yet. He might have, but if he hasn't, he might be tempted to fake powder there. Both of them saw those boots and felt like super behind at that point. Like, oh man, those boots were there.
It's not even like a rational thought, because like, boots are one of those things that, I mean, obviously they save time. I'm not saying they don't, but they feel like they save way more time than they do in actual.
Sure. Yeah.
And it just puts you in a better state of mind. Now, I mean, and generally, an Randomizer boots are a good thing if you have a sword, because you can just dash through enemies, unless you keep running into, roller bars and Lionels and it's seemingly everything else in Desert Palace.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, is there anything available on the pedestal at this point? Nope. I guess just like Bombos, I guess, would be the only thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd probably just check it anyways.
All right, let's see if Jullo's going to head to the back here. And no flute, so it looks like he is. As Drac puts old Moldorm here down to rest. Good night, sweet prince.
Yeah, this Moldorm actually has some unique defensive strategies of being so inept at moving that his head often covers his tail, preventing.
Yeah. I mean, if there's a sword on pedestal, it still doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be required, because there's two more out there if there is.
Yeah, and it's hard to envision a world where checking that sword would be a time save. We're getting that.
Yeah. All right, so if you're rooting for Clown Parade and Dracarys, you want this check to be complete waste of time. If you're rooting for the Immortals and Julloninja, you want this Green Pendant to have those myths. All right, there's pretty almost similar to what his normal arena is, Moldorm here. And we do get to find out there's just a heart piece there on the pedestal. Not surprising.
This game is really, really holding on to the ugly bosses.
Yeah, they're all in the worst spots.
So would that be your first play, just flute immediately to check this green pendant? You've just invested the time. Or do you make the density play and go into the dark world and check the boot spots?
I mean, you took the time to do it. I would check the green pendant first. And that looks like what he's doing. So Drax gonna see nothing there on Bumper Ledge. Let's go check Bonk Rocks. Oh man, this is close. It is not Bonk Rocks. It is not Green Pendant. So we're down to King's Tomb, Graveyard Ledge. Here's a question. Did we see the front of Escape?
Yeah, I've noticed. I have no clue. It sounds like we didn't. Which is incredible, and, you know, it's like they knew I was coming to race.
Did we... I guess we never saw the front of Escape.
Julloninja Uncle wrote it, so I know we've seen the Uncle chest, but we've also got the third item in the back of Thieves Town as well. Or the fourth item.
The fourth item, yeah.
I'm smart.
Holy smokes, we still... Okay, so there's... That is going to be hilarious if it is in the front of Escape. It's not Graveyard Ledge. Drac able to make up some time skipping Swamp and skipping Desert. All the time that he lost in Hera. And it's not King's Tomb. Alright, so we're down to front of Escape and Thieves Town. Oh man, if it's Thieves Town, I'm gonna laugh. Just because
I feel like it's gonna be Thieves Town.
How many races have been determined by runners skipping the back of Thieves Town, which is so common in Randomizer.
Yeah, I'm not going to go out as far as say determined, because I generally don't even pay close enough attention to the races I'm watching to figure out what's caused them. But like, I think I watched bits of 3 races today, and each one of them had an item in the back of Thieves Town that runners them.
All right, so
and of course, without these myths, we don't know about the medallion situation yet either.
Right. Yeah, that could be... I mean, that could really make or break Drac here. He's skipped Zora and Zora Ledge, so he might even do that before he goes into the front of Escape.
This is when you start to question your sanity and why you play this game.
100%. Where's Drac going? Is he gonna go? He's not gonna go back in the swamp, is he?
He might be just reading the Bombos tablet.
Okay. So he'll read this and then probably flute to his next location.
Nice BMO statues just saying like, oh, you want to go through the normal strategy? Do that.
Get out of here.
Now, if we saw the mids here, that would be hilarious. Dang.
So he's staying in the dark world. Where is he going back into swamp? It looks like it. Yeah, when you have the front of Escape and Zora still left, I can't really understand this call. Like, if you're gonna skip Skullwoods, I mean, this Drac, I feel like this is things that Drac has taught me. Is like, if you're gonna skip left side swamp, you skip it until it's the last thing you've got.
Yeah, I feel like I would have gone to escape here as well. I mean, knowing that it's a more likely play and we know there's nothing here. But I'm specifically with Swamp. Now I get it. He's sort of in the area. It's minimizing the amount of comeback time. But this is very, very unfortunate.
Right. No, but the thing is, you made the call, right? You made the call to skip it, so you've got to stick with that call.
Yeah, for sure. Especially like a hard skip like this. Like I'll sometimes skip things like, you know, the Village of Outcasts, right? And that's not necessarily a skip that I'm avoiding forever. It's just I'm putting it off for a longer
Right.
time. Whereas when you leave an item in a dungeon, good talking. It feels like going back for it just never works out.
Yeah. We got the bug net on the other tablet.
Definitely not going to be gone. Even though a bug net definitely gets more use in Randomizer than it does in normal mode.
Oh, so this is good. This is good for Drac. Jullo's gonna go back up and climb Hera. Man, these runners are making it so close.
So when they find the mitts in like the map chest and escape, then we'll see how bad they feel.
Yeah. What's gonna be funny is we're gonna see both of them converge on that spot together, and both of them are gonna feel super behind.
Yeah, following this, the only real sticking point is that Dracarys, of course, has that sort of shovel to Quake medallion thing he's hoping to duck at this point.
Yeah. But Jullo still has, well, if he does the basement, I imagine he will, since he's committing to this Hera play.
Oh yeah, you've come up here. I feel like you have to do the basement.
Yeah, so he still has mushroom and powder to turn in as well.
Yeah, and you know he's going to feel terrible when he finds the powder here. He'll be thinking, oh man, I could have just checked this with a mushroom so long ago. Even though fake powdering is legitimately something that I personally never...
Yeah. Oh, I know your stance on fake powdering.
It's like, have I seen the powder on the pedestal? Have I seen the powder on the lumberjack? Okay, I'm not fake powdering.
But what's worse, skipping left side swamp and then finding out that it was okay to skip left side swamp? Skip it, then you go back when you still have stuff open and you see that there's nothing there.
I honestly feel like I would feel worse about going back for the Hera play.
Man, Drac is doing everything he can to skip the front of escape. It's the... again, this is what surprises me is making the conscious skips, right? And if you're wrong, be wrong about it. But leaving checks unchecked, like the front of escape, I guess his thought pattern is, if it's the front of escape, I've lost.
Yeah, I would agree with that thought pattern, sort of like the if it's front of escape, I've lost mentality. Like, I kind of get it, but this was a seed that gave you a lot of early access and made going to the front of escape not convenient. You did not have the mirror before you checked Pyramid Fairy. You did not have the mirror before you checked Pyramid. In his case, he did both of them. So I feel like it's like not unlikely to have your opponent have skipped it for 45 minutes. Now, this is a bit different.
It's just funny that both of them have put it off for so long. And
this is going to be a race where both runners last locate their miss in the front.
Yeah. All right. I wish we had audio there for Jullo, right, as he picked those up. And he's going to do Spike Cave as well. So each runner gonna backtrack and check areas that we've already seen.
I'm not sure Jullo has anything other than the front of escape after this, does he?
Just the 2 fetch quests.
Oh, and the 1 chest in the back of Thieves Town.
Oh, that's right. That is going to be the actual last location for us.
If it's there, Drac is going to be very upset, because I know he was really gung-ho on going into the back of Thieves Town and getting all the items out of it heading into this race. It's just not a play you really make when you find 3 items and kill the boss your first trip in there, right? Like, I don't imagine many runners are going back in at that point, or ever, frankly, because it's awful.
All right, I thought Julio was going to make the play, but he pulls out the flute, so he's going to go either turn in... He's going to do his fetch quests now. He's going to go turn in mushroom or... Okay, so here comes the mushroom, and then we'll see powder, I imagine, after that. Drax's going to turn in his green pendant, and then the way he's routing, I'm guessing he's going to go do Zora's Ledge next, which would lead him to at least get that Quake medallion, and then maybe finally we see Front of Escape. I mean, this really is super close. Oh man, I thought Julio was making the play, but he fluted to 4 instead of 3 on
next. It's the game telling you something. I swear to God, when you when you're like choosing between 2 spots and you want to go to one spot and you accidentally flute to the other spot, just go with it. It's the game telling you.
It's the worst feeling to know, like when you make those skips, and then you go back. And then you realize, oh, I could have made those skips.
Oh, yeah, that is the worst feeling. There's, like, no worse feeling in the world than making 5 or 6 skips. And then I have them on my list of terrible spots, and it's a name I can't say on this broadcast right now. And I don't check those things until the end of the seed. And then when you do those things and they aren't the answer, it is just maddening.
Yeah. All right, so we're down to Thieves Town, Front of Escape. Let's see what Julio picks first, because I think those are the last things that he has. Drac is going to go pick up his shovel and his bombs, and then he'll turn in that shovel and get his Quake medallion. So that's good for him, but he's going to be about 1.5 minutes behind Julio at this point.
Yeah, and he's going to lose a little more time, because I don't even think he's checked the uncle yet.
Man, some things I just don't understand that runners do, and that's one of them.
I mean, it's something I would do in a big race, but in a 1v1 race, I tend to try and play more conservatively. Unless I'm up against, like, Gem or Kyong or some Titan in the game, and I feel like I have to save 3 minutes in execution. You know, make up 3 minutes of skips to just believe in on execution, you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right, first checking in the Front of Escape, just $20.
It's gonna be the back of the back of Thieves Town. Like I don't even know why we're even in here.
Yeah.
See, this is a scenario where he could have shot that thing with the silver arrow the second he stepped in the room. He doesn't have to wait for it to come to life. Oh, and
there it is. All right, so possibly go mode for Julloninja at 122.57.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the first thing you do is you flute to Meyer. If you can get in, you go mode it and go right to TR, right?
Yeah, for sure. Oh, Drac's gonna do the back of Thieves Town. He is 100% set on not doing the Front of Escape. I mean, at this point, we've checked everything, so there's going to be a sword along the way somewhere, either Thieves Town, Meyer, or Cannon's Tower.
Yeah, and if you get
because everything else has been checked.
If you get Godmire, you don't check Meyer first.
No,
you just move on
no. Because you're going to have to basically full clear Thieves Town or Turtle Rock anyways, so...
Yeah, between Turtle Rock and GT, there's very high... I mean, given that basically there has to be swords there, unless they're all stacked up in nice pallets.
So I guess with Drac, his thought was, I've put off Uncle in Front of Escape the entire game. If it's there, I've lost. Unfortunately for him, oh man, look at all these guards. You know, if he just had gone there now instead of Thieves Town, or if he had just committed to the skips that he made, he would have been in the lead. So it's trying to out-meta your opponent, and you out-meta yourself.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of meta racing as much in 1v1 races because I feel like there's a natural inclination to play a little bit more conservatively in a 1v1 race, whereas in a big race, I know a bunch of runners, myself included, will occasionally make lunatic plays, basically Hail Marys that will either pay off and win you the race or cause you to lose the race. And in a 1v1 race, especially in a situation when you're playing with your teammates, you don't want to make a decision that's going to cost you the race in the first half hour, right? So there is some, likelihood to do more full clearing before going to Aga, likelihood to go and, maybe check pendant dungeons you're nearby, like Skull Woods or whatever the case may be, so... But yeah, basically, until he made the choice to go back into Thieves Town, he was within the sort of space where if Julloninja had some issues in GT, with Randomizer, or maybe the big keys behind a terrible boss at the Ice Armor spot, like Trinex or something like that, it can be really hard to beat without it with Master Sword. Without Master Sword, I can't even imagine doing it with just Hammer. Yeah, now it's a bit bigger of a delta between the two.
Yeah, so we're coming up to 2 minutes here. I mean, it's gonna be about 4.5 minutes, and there's opportunities if he. I don't know. It just surprises me to go back on into areas that you made the skips on, like swamp.
Yeah,
the swamp thing is sort of one. Yeah.
Now, unfortunately, we didn't get to see my favorite thing in Mire, which is Randomizer Spooky, and you're going down and like, all right, can I hit that enemy? Is that going to work? Now, he got vanilla anti-fairy, so it would have worked in that room for sure.
All right, so we might be leaving 2 items here in Mire, but between GT and Turtle Rock, you take your chances. You're going to find at least 1 sword up there, and we've got our second Armos Knights. We have not yet seen one of the nasty bosses yet. So is that our last double?
Yeah, I was going to say, I can't remember what they all were. Yeah, Mothula, Moldorm, and now Armos Knights. So we know between TR and Ice and the 3 bosses in GT exactly what they are, and someone could probably figure them out who's not me.
Yeah, so we've seen Helmasaur. Yeah, we've seen Helmasaur.
Yeah, Trinex, Vidi, Cold, Argus, and Blind are the 5 bosses missing, right?
Yeah. 127, looked like 17 for Drac for his potential go mode. So that's just under 4 minutes, I think. So Jullo looking for a sword.
Yeah, I like the checkerboard check a lot more than going back into Mire. Now, he's going to do a Gina's Cave, which I don't like as much.
Yeah, but he's going to save and quit from here. Yeah. And he'll be on the mountain. So that's understandable.
Yeah, it's just it saves so much time if you can. So much time, but it saves time if you can just go to Ganon after fighting the big key as opposed to having to dig deeper for a sword, or maybe the boots or something like that.
I don't know how many potions Jullo has. Did he pick up some potions when he was there? I see a green there.
I'm pretty sure he did not.
Randomizer. Yeah, in Randomizer, I'm always picking up potions before I make the mountain climb, because I don't want to. 1, I don't want to die, and 2, I don't have to go back to get potions anyways. I feel like there's no shame in picking up potions in this mode, because yes, Jullo has about a 4.5-5 minute lead here, but Randomizer is an equalizer, so
yeah, you can always get picked up by a Wallmaster at the top of GT. You take a weird death in that room post Moldorm 2 because you had a Vitreous at Moldorm 2, and then you get some bad RNG in that room. Like, there is things that can happen. But I like to pick up potions because I want to spam my magic. I want to use that Ether Medallion in every kill room if it's a reasonable possibility. If not, I want to be hitting people with a Fire Rod. Like, I want to be a mage type going up GT and Randomizer.
Sure. And big question, Frost, do we need Bombos?
I don't think we do. I feel like, if we do, it's in Ice Palace, but I think we're good.
That Quake medallion was required.
Yeah, Quake is required. That vanilla medallions, is that what this is? I'm legit asking because I've never.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't. Vanilla. I don't play vanilla. What is it? Rando for life, baby. All right. Jullo enters at 129.43. We'll see how far behind Drac is when he enters. I imagine we'll see a sword or two, either here or in Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, we can all hope that the sword's in the lava chest and they get an early big key and then they skip it. Oh, those little moving skulls are low-key terrible enemies because they're like the simplest, most, easy enemy to avoid, but they are absolute trucks when it comes to the damage.
Oh, for sure.
It always feels great when you get killed by one of them. It's like, yeah, this thing is so avoidable. How did I hit this? And Turtle Rock, definitely the dungeon in Randomizer, in my opinion, that gets nerfed the most. Like, this next room becomes basically free. Chain Chomps becomes basically free. A lot of the kill rooms, like the double pokey room, which isn't too bad, but it can be enough.
Yeah, it's the pre-vanilla big key chest that could be the worst.
Yeah, the other thing that can be bad is the dark maze. If you get some Chain Chomps or other sort of really hard-hitting enemies. I mean, one of the worst scenarios I've ever run into in Rando was in back when Pot Shuffle used to be an option. It was a TR I ended up going through dark with Pot Shuffle off, and just trying to find the switch in the dark maze, which wasn't something I'd considered going into the dungeon. Yeah, it wasn't very smart.
That's funny. Oh man, almost a god Turtle Rock. If that key had been there, we would have had that god Turtle Rock. But
yeah, for sure.
Alas, they will still be able to steal this key here.
Yeah, and you gotta check Laser Bridge in this scenario too. You can't skip it.
Oh yeah, actually, we might not even skip this. We might not even skip this next chest because still looking for that sword.
I mean, I would.
I might even go to the big chest at this point.
I would definitely consider going to the big chest. I would probably still skip the lava chest.
Oh man, almost got wall mastered there.
He almost got wall mastered, he almost got bunny beamed, and he almost got eye lasered, and he dodged them all like Neo.
Nicely done by Julloninja there. Showed us that he's won with the Matrix for sure.
These red Baris are brutal in kill rooms. One of my least favorite enemies.
Okay,
it's not like they're challenging, they're just so slow.
Annoying. Yeah, super annoying.
And they're one of the few ether enemies that ether doesn't kill, it just splits them. Now, if you got half magic and lots of magic backups, you can just spam ether twice and it kills them, and it's still pretty cool.
You check Mimic Cave?
He's doing it. I'm not sure I would have, but I'm also a lunatic.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't though either.
But if you're looking for, I mean, I would skip it if I had silvers the way he does. If I didn't, I probably would, if that's even rational.
Yeah. All right, so I just calculated it. Drac entered Turtle Rock 3 minutes 11 seconds behind Julloninja. So it's a lead, but it's not insurmountable by any stretch of the means.
No, for sure. In a regular mode, this is cooked. Unless the swords are particularly heinous, it's likely Jullo's got it. But Randomizer is a big equalizer. Of course, Jullo's a great runner. We're not expecting anything to go wrong, but it's a possibility.
It's Randomizer.
We're not just memeing. Yeah, we're just not memeing talking about despawns and stuff like that.
No, not at all. Randomizer is the rando equalizer for sure. So
I mean, we in both of our matches benefited from an opponent who had issues at the top of Ganon's Tower.
Right. Okay, so we can skip Laser Bridge if we'd like, but we still need that sword.
That would be just a huge flex. I'm gonna check Mimic Cave in the big chest, and I'm just gonna skip Laser.
Oh man, look at that! What a spot for the roller there.
That is ideal.
Oh, you want magic before you get to Laser Bridge? No. Though he could have filled up that pot right there.
Yeah, that would have been. I would have been going through this gung ho. Oh, I don't need to fill up, and then I saw that thing, and okay, yeah, maybe I will fill up. I really like the cape strat there. You can tell he's played some Randomizer because it always seems you get a spike or something that blocks you on that bridge when you just
like
dash
a
down
non,
it.
a non-killable. Oh, there we go. There's our Master
Boom,
Sword. Let's take a look. Let's keep looking.
Yeah, I definitely would check these last two chests as well. Great value.
Yeah.
Maybe if I'd been counting items, I wouldn't have.
Well, it's hard to count items because he did skip a chest, so...
Yeah, true. I guess that is right. I mean, it's hard to count items, period, if you're me.
I know, right? I mean, we're not even playing. We can't count items.
Yeah, I mean, I focus really hard on it when I am running, but when I'm watching or commentating or even tracking a race, which is rare, I have a real tough time paying attention that thoroughly.
All right, so we're going to have something kind of nasty here, right? No, blind. It's all. So that means Trinex, Vidi, and Argus are all in GT.
Well, and there's Cold Stare left, and one of them's in Ice.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about Ice Palace.
But that, you know, that basically means your Trinex is either going to be, you know, in Ice Palace, which is they're both hoping for, or it might be in...
Oh, we should mention we are going to play the GT Big Key guessing game. So once Oro starts it up, go ahead and get your guesses 1 through 22 on where you think the GT Big Key is. You don't have a lot of time because Jullo's going to dash right over there. So, you know, depending on his routing, we'll see where it is. Frost, just give me a guess.
13, because it sounds like 30. I always guess the same thing.
Let's see. What do I feel like today? You know what it's going to be? I want it to be like a 1 or a 2, like in the hope room, because then they don't get a chance to look for that second sword or that third sword, which again could be another equalizer between our runners here. Is Master Sword, Ganon, though they do have silvers, I'll make face horror, you know, quick. The real tough part about Master Sword Ganon is that the second phase. So.
And Drac skipping the last two chests on Laser Bridge. He also skipped, I think, the big chest and Mimic Cave, so he is pulling back some time. Yeah, I'm personally a fan of the Dark Magician strat in the Randomizer, and I feel like we're going to see that probably out of both of them, because you do not want to fight the boss at the Ice Armor spot unless you absolutely have to.
For sure. All right, number 1 is a small key. 24 points will be awarded to today's winner. So hope you got your guess in. And Drac, I feel like Drac has made up a bunch of time in here by making all of those skips.
Yeah, his execution has been super clean, which isn't surprising either.
Well, I wasn't fully paying attention, but I don't think he went outside and checked the big chest.
No, he didn't check either the big chest or Mimic Cave, and he also skipped the last two chests on Laser Bridge.
So we've got ourselves a race. Some numbers. Oro's going to keep track of us. We haven't seen the big key because
that was 1 through
I'm not going to track him. Okay.
Next is 6. One question for your agent. In a situation where someone comes into GT and they perhaps see the GT big key for chest 1, but they pick it up at chest 21, what's the number? Is it 21 in that scenario?
It's when they pick it up, man. It's when they pick it up. It was in Hope Room. So if he had gone like the way that you're supposed to route this, which is Hope Room left, or Hope Room small key right, and then back left, you know, he would have got it at number 1 or number 2, which I was right about. But with number 6, so it looks like Teapot 3737 is our winner today. Congratulations on your 24 internet points.
Okay, already looking at this
room.
Drac is going to be able to pull some time back if he uses Ether in that kill room, and this one. They're both, all the enemies are vulnerable to Ether, especially that Gibdo, even though he's got silver.
Yeah, Jullo hasn't really taken advantage of the fact that you can kill those enemies with either an arrow or the hook shot when
Ether's really quick. It doesn't have it's a quick cast time if we're playing an RPG, and it's also you know, if it doesn't kill the enemies outright, it freezes them. So if you have a sort of dictionary, basically I'll step into the Gauntlet 1 and I'll be like 3 out of 4 Ether, boom, I'm doing it, and I'll just kill the last one that's freezing, and it's definitely faster.
All right, so we've got ourselves a race. Again, Master Sword in Randomizer, Climbing GT. We still have another boss, 2 bosses to fight, and then Ganon. There's time to be made up for Drac. So this is scary. if you've got rooting interest in this one, I'm sorry, because this is gonna close, and you got all those guards, chasing after you. Use your resources.
That would be exactly the time I'm cursing the fact that I don't have bombos.
Right. All right, so Jullo making pretty good work of these first few rooms here. Nothing too heinous. Those guards was probably the worst. I hate Moldorms. Moldorms are the
jazz
worst.
Hand enemies. They are, oh my god. It's like they're totally irrelevant over in Desert, and then they just creep up on you in the Gauntlet.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so less than 2 minute difference, and here is Argus. Now, one of these enemies allows you, like once you kill all the puffballs, I think you might be able to just dash through here.
Yeah, so this is definitely a scenario where once you kill the puffs and Argus goes off screen, the door will open. You can also, so basically, once it's like the same thing as the mimic clip. Once the enemy is off the screen, the game is like, okay, the enemy's dead, right? Even though it's not dead.
Yeah.
So I've seen some scenarios where I think I've even seen it open with Little Eyes still alive, but they're down in the corner, and when they swing off the screen, it's like it doesn't count the main enemy as alive yet. I've also seen Trinex go off screen and open the door there as well. It's just a really, really messed up room.
It's always funny when you see somebody not notice it and still wait to kill them. Fortunately, Jullo did see it and was at least familiar with it and was able to bounce. These shadow dudes taking too much time though.
What a surprise, 5 of them.
Yep. Is taking advantage of his hook shot there, so that's good.
The hook shot just slays them.
I just gotta say, I'm so happy I'm not in this division or on one of these teams, because I'd be so stressed out right now.
Oh, this is definitely the roughest division, in my opinion. I mean, all the divisions are tough, but this one is definitely the toughest.
Yeah, every win is super important in this division, and this is super close. Definitely going to be checking for a sword here.
Yeah.
That's going to be...
so this next boss has to be Cold Stare or Vitreous. What are you hoping for it to be?
Cold Stare. Let's use all that magic up.
Exactly. Oh, Jullo getting lucky there. I've actually had that where you hit a Helmasaur in that, and then you get sort of bonked even remotely near that door, and it sucks you back into the previous room.
And there it is. There's Cold Stare.
Okay, so yeah, basically between the Ice Armos fight, man, that big key behind Ice Armos would have been a big problem in this team, because it's either Vitreous or Trinex.
Yeah. So Ice Rod was not needed at all. And we know that because it was super free. All right, so he's gonna have to burn green potion here. Shouldn't be too big of a deal because we do have silver arrows. So
yeah, exactly.
Oh, and able to get the double splash on those 2 eyes there, or puffs at the end there.
Very spooky. I'm all in on the opinion of I can't die or lose time in the Gauntlet. If I have to flute to buy a potion before I fight Ganon, I'd just rather do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was really nicely timed. I mean, I'm not sure I knew a lot about it, but...
Yeah. All right, so the Randomizer portion of our seed for Julloninja is done. We're down to Agatu and Ganon with silver arrows. We're not getting another sword. So we've got a silverless Master Sword Ganon fight that's going to separate and divide who our winner is today.
Are we going to see some Samaria strats? Who's going to hit the most triples?
All right, down goes Agatu for a decent fight there from Julloninja. Not the best he's probably ever done, but good enough. to get the job done.
No, both these guys got to be feeling some big pressure too. It's like those mitts are so free, the boots are so free. They're both probably saying, how is my opponent not done?
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go. 144.34 is when Julloninja drops down.
Yeah, Drac unfortunately getting a lot more spread on his Colts there, Cotton Candy.
All right, Jullo taking advantage of his cape here.
Whenever you come in here with Master Sword, you're always happy to see these nice, one tile between the wall sets. Especially if you're like me and you can't do the Canis Mario strats, at least in a manner that saves time, actually.
Yeah, what a great spot for phase 2 here in that top.
Yeah, you're
corner.
hoping to get 10 hits probably on this section right here.
Jullo is actually doing a great job. Is he out of magic?
Yeah, I think he's good.
I mean, this is cutting it close. All right, on to phase 3.
Yeah, you can just use the lamp if you're worried at this point, though. And even if you wouldn't normally go for torch glitch with silvers, you might just want to get one hit, get the torch glitch, and then move on.
All right, and there's hit number 3. Just one more here in phase 3 as we move on to phase 4. All right, he's got his silver arrows pulled up. Oh no! Oh my gosh!
Wow!
What just happened?
That was insane.
How did he not get knocked down? That was unbelievable. Oh, he's got more. He's got more magic.
He's got tons of magic.
He's good.
He knows what's going on. I don't know how he
I don't know what just happened there.
I don't know how he didn't get knocked down the second time. I have no idea.
Oh my gosh. And there it is. 4 silver arrows into Ganon. Get your GGs in chat for Julloninja as he gets ready to finish the seed in what can only be described as the most incredible non-fall I've ever seen. And there it is.
GG's Julloninja.
And Jullo finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 47 minutes exactly. GG's. Let's see if we can have a chat with him, because that was Monka S.
Yeah, I don't know if he knew a lot about what he was doing to the inputs on those cannon hits at the end, but I'm sure he's counting his blessings that he didn't get knocked off right there.
Yeah, I don't know how he stayed on. I just don't know how that happened. It looked like he was squarely on, like, over the pit entirely.
He was inside getting in for a period of time, then he was over the air. I don't know. He's got magic. That's all I can say. You know he had to be feeling Drac's footsteps, even though this isn't like a foot race or something like that. But, given that they both kind of had some subpar, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but they didn't go to the right spots when they could have, let's put it that way. And Drac with a really clean 3 silver hit that I could never personally get to finish off.
Yeah, that was nice. Get your GGs in chat for Dracarys as he finishes. Let's see here, with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 50 minutes, 46 seconds. What a race. That was incredible. We got Julloninja in the waiting room. See if he's ready to join us. Frostman, what a race.
Yeah, that was super fun. Just absolutely nail biting right down to.
It looks like we're gonna get both of them at the same time. So let's there we are. We are joined by our runners today, Julloninja and Dracarys. GG's to you both. What a race. How you guys feeling after that?
Bad.
I don't know what to say about that Ganon fight.
I mean, you got to watch it back on the delay, right? Like the fact I don't know how you didn't fall there. Like that was incredible.
I don't know either. I was just hoping he wouldn't shoot a fire bat at me. But I did.
Yeah. Oh man, that was insane. So I guess the big question for both of you is, what do you have against the front of escape?
Well, for me, it was mostly a meta play. I was like, yeah, he probably did this early. I can't go there. If it's there, I just lost. So I just did everything else first, and obviously it didn't work out.
I'm in the same boat as meta playing it, but I decided the back of TT isn't worth skipping front of escape at the end.
I mean, you both meta played it, but you meta played each other into both last location in the midst. So,
You know, as much as I'm a fan of last locating your pseudo go mode item in the front of his, but no, I totally get the meta play. You figure, A, what is the chances an hour and a half in that my opponent hasn't done this Sphere 1 check? And it totally makes sense.
I gotta say, I was surprised going back to things that you guys had skipped. For example, you, Drac, you skipped out on Swamp and Desert and decided to do those over the front of escape. I guess that just goes into that meta play you're talking about.
Oh yeah, I was absolutely sure I would last location the front of escape no matter what happens, and I did.
I guess on another note, how did you guys both feel about finding those boots where they were?
I mean, you were in a decent spot, I guess. At least they allowed you to do desert, or well, if you finish it at least. I went back for landfall later.
Jeez. Why didn't you just finish it then and there?
Because I felt so far behind, I was like, I have to make skips. I have to skip everything right now and just go straight to the mids. And I instead just skipped everything, went back to all my skips, and then last location my mids.
Yeah, you had to feel behind after that death in Hera. Like, that was a real big moment. Like, it felt like a turning point in the race there.
I already felt behind after I died in Skullwoods, to be honest. That mini Moldem just hugged me, I think, twice there and just killed me on the way. And I was like, yeah, that's like a solid 2-minute timeless. I have to walk all the way back to the portal and all the way back to Skullwoods. This is just going to take a while and cost me 2 minutes for no reason. And yeah, I felt bad from the beginning, so I decided to gamble a bit more than usual. And as usual, it didn't work out.
See, the key is you just got to gamble like a maniac straight from the beginning, right? No, I'm kidding. But no, that totally makes sense. Yeah, the other thing I guess that was really neat about this game was the fact that it was saving all of the difficult bosses till the end game as well.
Yeah, especially considering it didn't give us many swords.
Yeah, you guys both found the safety sword. Sorry, go ahead, Julo.
I was just gonna say, lack of swords. I wonder if we both skipped the one in Hookshot Cave or Super Bunny.
Yeah, that's possible.
That could have changed the race again.
I feel like it'd be hard to make those checks though with where you're at. I imagine both of you felt pretty far behind with a lot of the race.
Well, yeah, and it would have been a different thing if you maybe didn't have the silver arrows, but at least you know your Ganon fight isn't going to be an absolute disaster without a third sword at that point. So I definitely agree with skipping. The combination of sort of feeling behind and then not having the worst fight ever and just hoping you'll run into a third sword on.
I feel like I had the worst fight ever. I would have liked another sword.
True. Just some sweet tight-roping on the edge there. That was nice.
As far as Randomizer goes, it felt pretty tame to a lot of the other Randomizers I've seen this week. What did you guys think as far as Randomizer settings. And do you guys enjoy playing Randomizer at all?
Randomizer is fun. At least if you don't die like I did.
You need equipment for Randomizer to be fun. Just running around with Fighter's Sword. I mean, Silvers are okay, but you don't want to be pulling it out for everything. Room before the Eastern Palace boss with all those guards in it.
Oh yeah, Drac went even through there without a sword, so he had to use, like, that was, we were saying that if he didn't have the hook shot for that room, we weren't sure whether it would have been beatable with just the hammer. It would have been, it was so laggy. They just get right on top of you. But yeah, there was some great lag spikes in this game, which is always what I'm looking for in Randomizer.
So how are you guys feeling about everything with the league? Are you enjoying the league? You guys are in a really tough division. Are you guys thinking about playoffs? I know we still have, we're just about going to hit the halfway mark here next week, but how's your teams feeling, and how are you guys feeling overall?
I think we stopped thinking about playoffs after this game. I think, yeah, we're in a really tough division, and we already lost like 3 or 4 games now, and I think it's like we can't afford to lose another one, and we're still facing the Puck Trio in co-op week, so it's basically impossible for us to make playoffs at this point.
Trio's easy. You just gotta face Wadey, and it's an easy game, free win.
But it's
oh,
we're facing Wadey and Andy probably.
Yeah, exactly.
That makes it even easier to win. Come on.
Well, for the Immortals, are you guys feeling pretty good about your chances? I mean, you're at 12 points now. You faced Pug Trio, right, and split with them?
I feel like I'm gonna have to be in every week so we can just keep taking out the teams. But I think we only have, of the stacked teams, I think we only have 2 per left. So we might make playoffs at this rate, splitting even with all the hard teams.
Is the second match for you guys this week still upcoming, and if so, who's playing? Or has it been figured out? I don't know.
The second match was Tuesday.
Okay, yeah, you guys
first.
There's so many matches, I can't keep track of them all in my head.
That's why we have a schedule, Frost.
It's like 8,000 pages with all the matches on it. I know. I can't even remember who's in my own division and who we've played.
Now it feels bad to be in Frost's division. He can't even remember you.
That's exactly right. But then you'll just know me, and it's like, oh no, he literally can't remember anything, and then it's like, yeah, you can't feel that bad. But no, this was a super fun race to watch, guys. You guys obviously had a similar sort of mindset, and it was really fun. As Fear and I were arguing over who was going to make the play into the front of Escape first, and basically, we were wondering if the Mitts were going to be in the back of Thieves Town like every other race this week. Of course, that wasn't the case, but no, it was super fun to watch, and pretty close at the end. Drac, you made up a heck of a lot of time down the stretch, and yeah, it was a really fun race.
Well, we're going to wrap this up here. Any last thoughts about anything from either you?
I think teams should stop beating other team members, so I don't have to make the threat of they will lose to me later in the week.
All right. Anything else, Drac? You good?
Yeah, let's just hope they can take at least 1 victory in Cross Keys week at this point.
All right, well, I think that's going to wrap it up here on Speed Gaming 2. Make sure you check out all the Speed Gaming channels and, of course, the league channels as well. The ALTTPR League and the ALTTPR League 2 through 4. Lots of races going on this week and for the next few weeks as we hit the back half of the season. We've got Mystery coming up next week, as well as Cross Keys, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Big shout outs to our tracker again today, Oro, making sure that Frostbite and I don't miss anything, which we often do. Big shout outs to our racers. Make sure you give them a follow. They put on great content all the time and are racing all the time, so make sure you check them out. Frost, as always, it's great doing comms with you. Thanks for joining me today.
Oh yeah, I made it this far with remembering push to talk was a thing. Yeah, it was a blast as always, Fear Agent. Look forward to doing it again, and let's do something crazy. Maybe let's run some door rando races tonight or something.
I don't know about that. So yeah, make sure you give there's follows in the chat. Okay? Follow everybody. That's gonna do it from us here at Speed Gaming 2. I've been Fear Agent for Frostbite and Oro. See y'all later.